Getting the camera into focus. What's going on? Hi, I'm Dr. Brenda Jean Power, and this is Medicine Woman Solution. And we're here to talk about the 90-second rule. Now, some of you may have never heard of the 90-second rule. We're going to talk about it. It's about emotions. It's about the trigger. We're going to, think about it just for a second. What do you think? You've heard the 90-second rule about emotions. Let's see if you can, tell me what you think. Hopefully you're here. I'm going to just get us online to see if it's really working or not working. Did I not go live? Did it not go live? Ah, there it is. So the energy about that's out there, the things that people feel, the things that people go through, and then they share these emotions. And these emotions are present in their field. They're in their scalar field. They're in the field. And that's the field around you as well. And the field shapes who you are, the field. So there's a lot of proof of this. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, finding proof. But when you've been in this field long enough, you start studying little things that people do, certain stuff that comes from science, and you understand the hologram, you understand the morphogenic field. And so you kind of just sum it up and paraphrase. So in this field, we have our own aura field, and then we have the field that we share with others, which is the scalar field, and then we have other energies that we share. Now, they will influence you. The environment will influence you. It'll influence your mood. It will influence your day. It will influence your life. It will tap into your informative years. So you can have a bunch of people in the same room, all witnessing the same thing, and each person can walk away with a different perspective. Now, as I look at perspectives, I see them as the kaleidoscope of life. They're the kaleidoscope of perspectives. And these are different ways that we view the world, the different ways we react to the world, different ways of being in the world. And it always surprises me to find out that we all don't hear the same thing, even though we're in the same spot. And we have these different emotions, right? Which are all similar in all of us, but we view them at different perspective based on our belief systems and what's important to us. And based on our experiences and how we reacted to them. So it's our social skills. It is facing the successes: safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, and space, which is your freedom. And if you feel insecure, or if you have to be passive, or you're an introvert, or you're aggressive, or you're assertive, which gets it different than aggressive, but you are going to be yin or yang. You're going to be action or inaction. You're going to be the idea, or you're going to be able to make the idea. So there's different ways that energies move, and you need both halves in order to function. So coming back to this neuropeptides, and I'm going to change my screen, so hopefully it doesn't screw it up too much here. Yay, I don't think it will. That's always a good sign when that happens. So we're talking about emotional chemical peptides. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what are they? And do I have to care about them? Well, let's put this in perspective. Jill Bolte Taylor had learned, and she's a brain scientist that had a stroke, so she got to really figure out how the brain functions as she recovers. I think it took her 7 years. She said there's a 90-second rule. When an emotional trigger occurs, now everybody knows what an emotional trigger is, right? Oh my God. Okay. It's usually where you oppose, you hear what you think you hear, and sometimes is it true what they said is what you actually heard. Thank you very much. And is it okay? Because I can see how one person can hear what another one can't because maybe they're more tonal, auditory. Oh, here we go again with these gift restrictions. I'm not in it for the money. Do you want to send PayPal money? You send me gifts that way. So I don't have to waste my time on getting mad. So I had 90 seconds to feel the emotion of how that TikTok says, you've been restricted. And in that second, first second, it's like, okay, so what? Now I could waste my time on that and avoid talking to you because now I've got an issue. Or I can, in that moment, decide if I want those chemical peptides that are produced by that trigger of, oh my goodness. Well, if I choose to go, okay, there it is. Now, I don't have to be upset. I don't have to go there, but I have 90 seconds to decide. Now, why? There's a chemical surge, okay, within this trigger, within this trigger. And if you as a spirit being can become a spiritual human and go, oh my God, I can feel this emotional trigger and not believe it, not believe everything, but to decide to dismantle or to change this, then you're on the right path. Now, if you get into this emotional trigger and you feel the chemical surge and you start adding thought to what did I just feel, you are then deciding if you want to keep it longer than the first second. And it's any emotion felt after this period is the result of conscious choice. So this is proof about a choice point. So you feel the trigger. Ah, man, I can't believe I just got that. Notice, how did I respond? What's the emotion? I got 90 seconds. The emotions, every part of my nerves are being flooded with these chemicals and these emotional chemicals. So what chemical started to go through me when I saw that thing about TikTok? They said it came from the liver, and now I'm going to have to behave that way. Okay. And I can feel this block. I can feel this limited decision, this, oh man, it disrupted my plans. I could go down that road, but I got 90 seconds, motions of chemical surge pumping. This is a neural emotional chemical peptides. And it is, and boom, it comes in. Now, I can choose to follow it with a thought, trying to figure out what I'm feeling. Because if I'm just in my left brain being logic, or I'm going to use fear instead of love, I'm going to sit there and decide if I'm going to run with scissors, meaning just go all over and make sure everybody knows, and just dump all my emotions everywhere so everybody gets to feel it. I could suppress it and let it pop up later as a disease. Or I can make the conscious choice. Any emotion felt after that period of 90 seconds, because it flushes throughout the body. Emotions come up. You sit at that choice point. You can decide, do I want to follow it with thought, or if I want to just breathe it through and say no, or suppress it. I don't want you to suppress it, and I don't want you to just dump it all over. I want you to breathe. But you can also add OMG. This is touching the governing 20 and the gallbladder points here. And what you're doing is that when you get to that trigger, you go into fight, flight, freeze, you go into stress. And what happens is that your limbs are getting geared up. You got 90 seconds. Do I want to fight? Do I want to flight? Do I want to freeze? Do I want to go passive? Do I want to suppress it? What do I want to do? I don't want you to keep it. I want you to process through. So get the blood back up. Touching this helps the emotional, the meridians. This helps bring the blood back up. The frontal lobe creates reality so you can make a better choice. And if you can, you feel this emotional trigger, this wall. You can feel this rejection. You can feel this opposing. You can feel this. Now you can go into and create a story, or you can follow the past where it's an unresolved continued story and nothing changes in your world, or you can stop and go, oh my God, I don't really want to feel this way. I'm in charge. I get to choose. And you can say it's a 10. You can just sit there. You don't think about why, you don't think, excuses and reasonings. You don't go to conclusions, just feel. Oh, feel the words that want to come up, but just let them go. Now that's how you can insert and work with that 90-second rule. You got 90 seconds to decide if you want to follow it or let it flesh out. You are in charge of, because you are consciousness, and you have the right to choose how you want to feel these emotions, how you want to experience these emotions, how you consciously get to have the choice point. And you can consciously choose to loop it back in or just be done with it or heal it out. You have a choice. So just think about that. You have 90 seconds. Sometimes having that bit of information, you're going to go, oh, wait a minute. I remember Brenda said something about a 90-second. I can either keep it or let it flesh out, or I can add to it because I really want to follow it, but yet I don't want to really feel it and be stressed. You can heal. The choice is yours. But if you follow the story, chances are it's not new. It's remembered. It is your littles. It's your shadows. It is your mask. It is how you have to protect yourself. You're in this survival mindset. You're going full blown left brain, disconnecting from spirit, the world around you, because everything's an enemy. Okay. So when you think about what I'm saying, okay, so emotional chemical peptides, neuropeptides, they are small chains of amino acids that serve as chemical messengers in the brain and the body to regulate. They're there to regulate mood, social behavior, and stress response. Now, if you're going into a stress response, it is a loop. If you go into the story, you're reinforcing the world that you want. So you get to choose how to be present with the mind, but you also get to choose the mindset. You also get to choose to take the unresolved continuous stories and resolve them out instead of just say, this is it. Okay. Now, the body mind connection, is right there. And when you feel, and you don't think right off the bat, and you feel, this is a memorized experience that has been looping and fired and wired into a program that as you age, you want to grow out of. Because you're not getting the lessons, or you're not getting into the wisdom that's locked into the unresolved continuous story, and the emotions are like locking it in. So this is where I would like to help people to understand the difference between who you really are authentically and your programs. And the more you start to be in charge with your spiritual mindset, with your physical body, and you know the tools to calm it down, you get to have a better mental and emotional health. And when you decide, I don't want to do this anymore, you can heal out these particular feelings. Now, if it was just you, that's fine. But when you have another person, it can be a little bit the persuading, because you're like, I'm building a life here. Or do I want to keep continuing building a life here? So you have molecules of emotion, and they can help you feel what you've experienced. Why? Why is it that you become so efficient of this? And that is the brain. The brain is just a computer. And as you say, this is life, this is how I feel, this is what it means. So you give it definition, you label it, you point it out. And all of these things. If you can't give a gift because it says it's restricted, you can go over to my other account, or you can go to YouTube, or just send me PayPal money if that's what you want to do to support this. I appreciate it. Now, your brain, you're saying, oh, this person did this to me. Oh, this hurt. Oh, this hurt. Oh, it's a 10. Oh, and it's right here. Oh, they're doing it again. Oh, I have to protect myself. I have to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. Oh. And all these emotional chemical peptides. So you're a constant trigger. You're not in charge. The mind says that you're not self-regulated. Your emotional chemical peptides are just running all over the place. And you cannot take and get a break between these emotions. But you can. Now the brain's going to sit there and fire and wire. Okay, so they thought this once. Oops, okay, no big deal. They thought this twice. Ooh, yeah, okay. Now it's starting to create synapses because the glial cells don't have to come in and clean up the thing so you can forget about it. You won't forget about it because the emotional chemical peptides come in and go, hey, this hurt. And so then you start thinking about it. And so for your 41 thoughts per minute get to be high beta. So that's probably doubled. And you're like, oh my God, I can't stop thinking about it. So you're firing, and to the point. The brain says, okay, they're learning a new habit, a new program, and we have to make it as efficient as possible. So the moment we see or hear, and you have all of this stuff running through your body, always checking to see, is it safe? How do you want to do it? Okay. And, this is what it's doing. The chemical peptides are doing what they need to do to help you be a human. But you need to become a spiritual human. You need to be able to see that choice point, that 90-second. So the moment you feel, now again, you're not thinking because your brain is going, we have to do this efficiently. Okay, we've done this, thought about this for weeks, months, we got this all figured out. The moment that we see this, cue this, think this, boom, we bring up this chemical peptide, we feel, and then we put the thoughts that we already have to get in the program here. So you don't have to do anything except for sit back and let's be more efficient. It gets caught in a loop. Hi, Amber. It gets caught in a loop. So the question then becomes, can anybody make it stop? Yes. Can I make it stop? Yes. Can I do it without drugs? Yes. Can I get more freedom from this? Yes. But a lot of you are addicted to that chemical peptide, to that story, because it feels true, therefore it must be. And so then you go into that old personality that has not evolved. So you guys know what the 90-second rule is, right? I want you to get to your choice point. So if we were to look at how Jill Bolte Taylor talks about, there are 4 characters of the brain. And the first character is the left thinking. It's analytical, it's organized, it's detailed, and it is logical. You are going to use this more. This might be so trained that it becomes the dominance over your right. You become more left brain. So it doesn't really bring in the emotional heart. The emotion it does play with is this character 2. Cautious, fear-based, critical, focused. safety, and past trauma. Now, you don't have to be either of that. You can have that still logical, but you don't have to let the emotion be in charge. So when you're in a negative, you are being left emotional, left hemisphere, left emotions. That's not even the healthiest emotions. Now, if all of a sudden you're in character 3, you are this right emotion. Okay, so it's the right hemispheric emotion. It doesn't mean it's the right emotion. It just means this is in that hemisphere. So if you're going and operating through that, you're creative, you're playful, you're fearless, you're focused on the present moment experience. And then there's character 4, the right thinking. Now, that's right hemispheric thinking. It doesn't mean that it's the right thinking, right or wrong. Get out of that. It is about the right hemisphere thinking. And it's holistic, it's compassion, it's spiritual and interconnected with the universe. This is where your spiritual side is. But you can't be spiritual if you're going to be left brain or use a left brain emotion. Your brain, every 90 minutes, switches halves. Every 90 minutes. Your ability to go in and out of each side of the brain is happening all the time, but you get to make a conscious choice. And you look and it says, oh, well, there's no statistics. No, there is. But you have to involve the fact that you are a spirit. You are consciousness in living form, very limited to certain things. But yet you get to decide what story do you want for the day. Now, somebody that shares their emotions, if you grew up in a household where it was negative mindset or fear-based, you just be like that. Now, as you begin to say, well, I don't want that anymore, you're operating more of a right brain, or you're making a choice that you can't be forced because your family said this is what you're supposed to feel, this is what you're supposed to think, this is what you're supposed to be. And then you get to an age where I can't do it anymore. And you realize that the family you grew up in was a bit dysfunctional. You had a patriarch and matriarch, and what they did was say, this is how you're supposed to think, this is the job you're supposed to have, you're not supposed to feel this, you're supposed to do that, you're supposed to demonstrate this. It was all about separation. You're supposed to be this gender, you're supposed to be this religion, you're supposed to be this politics, you're supposed to be this here. And one of the things after World War II is the heart opened up. It wasn't just being an empath. The heart chakra opened up. So you're not doing just the first, second, and third about consuming and living outside yourself and in the environment and everything. You think through your face, you interact, you point, you ooh, the feelings, it's your fault. So the heart opened up, and the heart said, I need to really feel what it feels. What is love? What is love and what is not love? Now, in order to understand what love is, when you already started out what love is, you find out what it's not. But as you start to find out what it's not, and you are permeated with it every single day, and you're being programmed the first 7 years of your life, this informative years, and as you believe that there's nothing else but this. Now, if your heart says, hey, you have this thing called the soul's urge. And all of a sudden, you're like, I don't fit in this. I don't fit. I don't want this life I created, or I don't want to constantly be doing the next logical step. The freedom is when you break away from what you think is always right, because it's according to whoever it is that you grew up with. And as you start to really notice with love, it's not about right or wrong. It's about the value system within ourselves what's important to us. And if it's important that you to stop feeling alone, then you're going to create a very different kind of world. But if you heal and realize that you're not alone, you're going to create another different kind of world. If you are so caught up in your story and it starts to drive you crazy, then you will have the chemical peptides of constantly being in stress. Okay. You understand what I'm saying here, right? To break free from these programs and these loops, you've got to find that soul's urge that you want to set your GPS to joy, to peace, to harmony. And you're like, every meme tells you how awesome it is. Yep, that's the way I think. But then to live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, dream it, imagine it. And then you have to live it. Now, this is where you have to change your social skills. This is where you have to learn how to communicate. This is where you have to learn to, oh, did I just jokingly tell somebody to go to hell? And I kind of felt it, but I'm like, hey, I'm spiritual, man. I get away with it. Say it. No, you have to be held responsible just like anybody else. Because karma, the cause and effect, is going to come back and say that was out of balance. And you're going to have to wake up from the very thing that you can't see. If you have a lot of fear and you can't let anybody in your life, it may come across as you don't like them. Or you have such an intolerance tube to everybody. You guys know what an intolerance tube is? It's also very biased. It's also very much controls your world. But you have to wake up too. And this is why I say you have to pay attention to your flippant speaking. Somebody says, well, I'm going to take the joy away if I do that. No, because you have not healed it. You have no say on how it's changed. When somebody has literally changed perspectives and the feelings and all of this, then you get the experience. Then maybe I'll listen to you. So our internal representation, external people can tell us everything about how we're supposed to feel. But that internal representation, the mind's way of taking 4 billion bits of information and delete, distort, and generalize, and super focus on this. It's the sensory information. And people are like, sensory? Well, how does that got to do with being a person? Everything. Internal representation is the mind's way of taking sensory information from outside that world, and your outside affects your DNA, your health, your thoughts affect you. So it filters through the beliefs, the memories, the emotions, and creating a personalized, subjective picture, the model of your reality. This is why none of us can have the same reality. We can have shared information that can help lead us, but it's the soul's urge that help us look at that 90-second rule, that choice point. Because if it was just your ego and your program, it's just going to follow it. It's not going to see the 90-second rule. But if you can learn to get into the pause, into the gap, into before you completely make that model of the reality that you know that consists of pictures, sounds, feelings, taste, smells, self-talk, before you go into the story and reinforce it, and you're following the feeling, stop. You got 90 seconds. The moment you're triggered, I'm not going to follow that. I'm not going to run with scissors. I'm not going to go to conclusions. I'm not doing that. That has not worked for me before, and it's still not working for me, and I'm done doing it that way. So Spirit has came and blessed me with looking at different, traditional Chinese medicine and how acupuncture can be used in a different way, using pulse points with emotions. And what's an absolute common thing that's in a world all over is people have emotions. And the more you study the human, the more you can realize we have sensory systems. The more that you realize there's a self-talk and then there's outer talk, and the outer talk makes you think you have to do the self-talk. But where does this even begin? You have to reprogram the right temporal junction parietal lobe, where if you're left to your own devices to soothe yourself, when you go to think what other people think, you may insert a story that's not true. But it's effing real to you. But if you can stop and go, wait a minute, I don't need to follow this loop, this thought, this story. I don't need to believe my sensory system. Hashtag I don't have to believe my own BS. Then you do not have to keep creating the same reality over and over. And this is your internal representation that goes through all of your sensory system, the what you dominate the most, what's important to you. And let's talk about, just before we go a little bit further, yes, you have your sensory systems, but what about when you go to learn? I had to feel, I was a kinesthetic, I had to feel my homework. So I'd have to write, or I would have to, repeat something. I had to feel it. And when I was told, no, put the pen down and pay attention, I paid attention, but I couldn't connect. I could hear them, but I couldn't absorb the information. I can see it. I can hear it. I can't even think I could smell and taste that it, But again, it's all of your sensory systems. But when it comes to relationships, you're going to use all those filters, but whatever you're most dominant on. If you're more right brain dominant, you may be more open. But if you're more left brain dominant, you may all of a sudden miss things. Maybe logical, but you have deleted and said, no, that's not my reality. This is why everybody's reality is correct and everybody's reality is wrong, depending on whose eyes you're looking through. So how do we really create a very collective, coherent collective that wants to grow? Well, you got to add the heart. So relationships, if I'm being auditory and I'm in stress, I'm going to hear what I want to hear anyway. But if I'm not stressed, I'm going to hear more than what's being said. I'm going to be able to use it as a gift. Kinesthetic. If I'm looking somebody's in the eye and not breaking contact, I am going to almost absolutely know what they're feeling. And I can get lost in it, becomes my feeling. This is where you have to start to understand the difference between where you end and they begin. Visual. You have to have a picture. And I've learned that I need to balance all of these. So somebody will give me a piece of information, but I don't have a picture. Or they'll give me part of it, and I know I'm missing the rest of the information. So I have to get on the same page as them. I'm not going to create an internal representation unless I feel like there's no choice point. There's only enemy, and my brain already loops back into this, and then you're going to do the same story. How many times are you going to say I'm restricted? It's on a timer. I gave you a lot of information today. What are you going to do with it? Just waste it? Hey, Pam, how are you? And Autumn. The sign is so small. There's April. Okay. It's a lot more information I can give, but I'm really hot. And I'm kind of like debated whether I wanted to do the show or not because I'm just really hot. And this little room collects a lot of heat. Well, ask away, Davin. Ask away. Whew. Really hot. So Miss April Lynn has paid, and then we have Ayme coming on. And let me just see if I can get the right. window open. But when you are with yourself, you got to decide, how do you want to show up? So, Davin, I guess born given name is Morgan, but I know her as both. But Davin is who you identify with the most. And you said you were trying to sleep the other day, and I heard a distorted "Hi, Morgan." Now, let me tell you about this amazing brain we have. The brain's job is to interpret what you hear. Now, if you have birds, you'll know what I'm talking about. And so we found this bird, and this bird is supposedly wild, and we were trying to help it to survive. And I'm walking by it thinking it's a wild bird. We're helping it get on the mend. And the next thing I know, looks good. Did you just, my brain heard, looks good. Now, it was saying another word, but I swear to God, it was only saying my ex's name. And I thought, oh, hell no, I'm not picking a bird that's going to say my ex's name. My brain kept jumping to, you know, this is what it's interpreting. And then my husband, Alan, walked outside and the bird's going off. And all of a sudden he goes, butterscotch. And I'm like, oh my God, I can hear it too. I said, butterscotch looks good. Oh, the bird's like, you understand me. Chirp, 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 chirp. I'm like, oh my God, the bird's name is butterscotch. We were like, butt scratch? Butterscotch? It preferred butterscotch, but looks good. And if I'm walking around with food, looks good. Looks good. I'm like, are you trying to ask for a piece of toast or something? Looks good. You also paid for, oh, I've paid, well, in a PIF. Awesome. I gotta open this up. This is beautiful. Okay. Oh, talk about sweating. Reading for me? Yes. Pay it forward, and pay it forward for Jennifer. Is she here? I don't see it, but I mean, is she here? Let's see. Okay. All right. I can see that one. What else do we have here? We got Autumn. What spirit wants, she says. Then we have Miss April Lynn. Ah. And then Amy. Awesome. Love being of service here. Excellent. I almost didn't come on because it's so hot. Next week I won't be here. I think it's next week. Let me just double check on this. Yes, that's when I'm going to be a swearing in ceremony. Yes, thank you for telling me. Whew. So I forgot what I was even saying now. Isn't that brilliant? Just so excited that people want my service. Yahoo! Sometimes I wonder if this works only because my left brain kicks in, and it's like, but I got that 90-second rule. I can just stop. Oh, that's right. AI says you were talking about bird rescue, but the brain, Davin. Sometimes our brain will interpret it. So last night, I'm thinking I'm hearing a bird outside. I thought, why does this sound like a chipmunk? Maybe it's a chipmunk. Now I'm in a hypnagogic state. Now, this state is an amazing state where you can do a lot of healing. But it's also a state if you're watching TV and you fall asleep and you're between the hypnagogic state, your brain will answer and you will talk, you can giggle, you will respond, but you're asleep to some degree. Okay. This is the funny part. And to the point my husband's sleeping and I made a noise and he goes, "Chew." He's measuring my burps and I'm like, he's asleep. And then I didn't mean to stumble in the room, but I can't see in the dark. And he had grabbed a flashlight and held it up so I can get into bed. But he's asleep. So your brain interprets and your brain does its best. And the squeaky little thing that I heard, which I thought was a bird and a chipmunk, my brain finally forced me to wake. I'm like, what? It's a live mouse that got caught. So I had to catch it and rescue it and let it go. But it was just like crying. And I'm like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? My body's like, you have a baby. And I'm like, I'm 58 years old. I have no babies in the house. So my brain kept interpreting. So when we go and think, oh my God, somebody said my name. Now, if you have a definition of I'm curious or I'm afraid or any of this, sometimes our brain does its best to interpret what we have in there. Now, if it is something that you meant to focus on, then you'll get more clues. You're starting to hear more voices recently, and they never seem to scare me. That's good. If you're going to work with that, if you are using your intuitive going down that road, make sure you're on the 7th plane, because if you start to be on these other planes of existence, you can look at 7 planes of existence, you will interpret them not at the highest quality that you could. I chose not to do this unless I was on the 7th plane being able to communicate from the highest degree, okay? Because I don't want just anything. So I practiced. And I understand that it's not really, it's my voice. It is using the spirit is using my definitions, using my voice. But I know the difference between me and spirit. I can feel the difference. I trained myself to know this. And if I'm in an emotional state, or if I'm in, if somebody has put me in a bad mood and I can't do spirituality, I'm not going to listen, because I'm only going to get sidetracked from those other planes of existence, which is going to create a false reality. But if you are meant to skill build, chances are, and I'm hearing, spirit is going to help you start knowing the differences. Now, when you get one that's not very healthy, don't let it scare you away. Just heal it out. And just keep saying, what direction is it coming in? What is this? What am I hearing? Making sure that I'm always on the 7th plane. Again, get the book or find it offline, PDF, something. But practice getting to that higher state. Now, before I go any further, Susan Keys, she says she's new. Are you still here? I'm a newbie. Good to be here. I would love a message or reading or a card if you may. Something. Thank you. Okay, if you're still here, let me know. Okay, so you're learning to, Davin, my understanding is you're learning to, like, as you learn, I say, Spirit, tell me something I know, so I know it's every time. So these are basically like your phone number, a direct line. So if Spirit wanted me, it would tell me something. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I know what this is because I defined it. Spirit's going through that channel, and I'm just going to go over here and say, okay, Spirit, and then listen. Okay. So now let's move on to Susan. And hello, Susan. So, what I'm looking at is I do it based on feelings, and this is what I feel inside the body. There is a program where sometimes you feel irrelevant, okay, in conversations. And as soon as I'm telling you this, I also see an overcomer, which is you kind of suppress that, ignore that, let that go. And so you've learned to insert yourself and do things. But this feeling that's unresolved is starting to come up as part of your soul's lesson. Do you want me to continue or not? Sometimes people are like, I don't want to hear this. I'm giving you a chance. This is what you soul wants to work on. Can you relate to the word irrelevant? Um, like people will turn their heads, you're crickets when you talk, or you have added input, but somebody's already made the decision without you, all these little things. Yes, good. I think that is just to continue. Now, you have a chance to heal anything in this if you choose. Now, why does your soul want you to work on it? Is because your identity is that when you feel irrelevant, you feel like you've missed out. You can relate to very much. This feeling of feeling like you're missing out. And so I gotta figure out a way to get myself to fit in. But I feel like you're hooking yourself up to the wrong people. I don't care if they're family or if they're old friends, but your body is saying that you are meant to find like-minded people that think your voice is going to be very important. What the ideas that you have or the angle to which you see things are very much relevant and very much important. Do you understand? So when you hook yourself up over and over, it is a world that you've built that you don't want to tear down. It is the world you know growing up, so you don't want to pull away. But it's starting to get to you because your triple warmer is tired of the manipulation games that are in these so-called relationships. There's a part of you that says, why do we have to do this? Well, I'm going to tell you, you don't have to. You can grow. Okay. So your triple warmer is going, well, I'm always having to self-soothe, but they don't have to be responsible. But the thing is why do you keep hooking? I had to ask that very question. And I looked and I'm like, why do I keep hooking myself up to these family members or this person here? We don't think the same. We don't act the same. And I was already told that when I come to the table, don't bring up my stuff. But it was okay for them. And I thought, wait a minute, why am I complying? Am I so afraid of losing this? Well, what if I let it go? And I found people. I found a different avenue. Was never good at finding friends or any of this, but as I decided to become more me, more people showed up that were similar to me. I outgrew some of them. They outgrew me. It's not about being better than one another. But I kept honoring myself, but I also kept healing the pain, which then brought me different vibrational rates of people. Does this make sense? Okay. So if you feel that most of the time, okay, my body just said, oh, okay, so my body says, I just can't be duressed. One more time. Why can't we just have a discussion or a talk without having to you yapping your lips and duressing me to where behavior changes behavior, and I'm the one that has to change my behavior? I feel like you're like, I'm done. It's a strong feeling, but I don't know if it's now or if it's something you said and you repressed it. Do you understand? Because you have to start to learn about yourself and decide if you want to keep these things, because you can grow from them. If you can relate to this, and one of the things I'm going to tell you is I want you to look at irrelevancy, and I want you to just notice the feelings. I want you to learn to measure, and I want you to decide if you want to keep this story going or let it go. If you're ready to say, I'm going to look at this, I'm going to feel it, not going to say it's the excuses and reasons, but I'm going to feel it. I want you to take your right hand, because you can heal yourself. You can use your own body. Right hand, first position, okay? Not second, not third, not over here, under the thumb at the crick. It's the first position. You're going to place your thumb there and nice and soft. You don't push in deep. You don't strangle it. Nice and soft. Finger in the palm, create that letter C. Safety, security, stability. Okay. Then that heel of that palm on the forehead, touching these gallbladder points here. And then you're going to touch your fingertip here or your thumb. So you go like this, or you can go like this. And you're going to sit there for 15 or 20 minutes and feel how you know this story, how it resonates with you. And oh my gosh, you may end up picking up and saying, oh yeah, it happened last week. Blah, 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 blah. Keep going until that number gets to 0. Don't let it just go and go, I feel better now. Because it'll just keep regrowing. You want to go to the root. And then when the test comes up, you can go, hey, there it is. I have a choice point. I have 90 seconds to decide if I want to go back into that story or if I want to become more my spiritual self and rise and say, I'm done doing this pattern. Okay, Susan? So the person that had a question over here. Is she still here? Where'd that question go? What does it mean when both of your ears vibrate with a frequency? Well, if you are aware that now, did you hit a tone, a bell, or was there music playing and you noticed the frequency and they're both going? Or were you sitting there and all of a sudden the planet, the Mother Earth, the different tones and frequencies, and all of a sudden you're aware of it that way? So it depends on how your ears heard it. Now, what does it mean? So it can be individual, which is what I also feel for you. For your ears, you're changing the fear of being bold, and your soul urge is kicking on and going, I don't have to look at this fear anymore. I can't see it anymore. I got to focus. So I feel like you are hearing that your soul wants to focus, and it's got your attention and your brain and your ears. Now, your body's energies run on frequencies. Meridians are frequencies. And when you're changing those frequencies, especially in the ears, I asked which, like how many frequencies? 1. And which one is it that's changing that she can hear in the ears? It's the lung. So the lung, and they said, you're going to want to start stopping by paying attention if you silently brood. Well, if you silently brood, that is causing a chemical peptide that weighs you down. So you're going to feel your lessons increase and shit's going to keep coming faster. So if you don't want to go through a lot of chaos and you want growth to happen, then one of the things I'm going to tell you to do, which one? Is the silent brooding and the knots. So I'm not doing that. I'm not that way. Just start looking at the knots. And if you are doing the knots, you say knot is a high 10, then you're going to hold right wrist, first position, but yours is deep. Okay. You measure, focus. If you feel that silent brood, you pass the 90-second mark, you're stuck in the story, you are going to go here and measure about silent brooding. I can't say what I want to say. Feel, hear the words that are attached to it, and keep that hand there for 15, 20 minutes. Come back to measure it. And if you're coming down, you're healing yourself. And I'm proud of you for that. So keep going. Because you are worth it. You are going to prove to yourself that you can listen with your spiritual self and realize you are worth it. Susan says, yes, absolutely. A lot of them go, I'm healing. I'm working on letting past memories go. Thank you for this. And the practice I will do. Good. Taking that action with your soul, taking that action with this physical body, you can become something other than your program or the problem. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so let's get cracking. I just had like immediate sweat. Okay. It's not that bad out. You go 28 plus 28 plus 30. And what can anybody want to do the math for me there? So that's how warm it is right here. And it's in the heat coming from my computer is just making it worse. Well, the technique I'm using is called giving hope. Success, the 6 S's: safety, security, stability, standing, surrounding, space. That's freedom. Hope therapy. And it is based on TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, pulse points, but it is also in the emotions. And when I started to gather everything I needed, I started to smash them together. I started using them. And then I found other people on the planet that have been using them too. And so I just sculpted mine to be the best way to help someone to become a spiritual human, meaning learning to be your soul first, look at the problem, decide, do I want to be my program or do I want to resolve? So hashtag resolve to evolve. But it's simple, but yet it's very effective. And if you don't have a point, and you're like, I don't know what point, that's fine. Just touch here and here, because these parts are very important for your frontal lobe so you can create a healthier reality. Okay. Oh, Jesus. So 28 and 28 is what? 56 plus 30. It's not that hot. It's only 80 something. So it's not that hot, but it must be muggy to some degree. Or my hormones are off, because I asked both people that in the house, they're like, yeah, no, it's good. And I'm like, geez, oh, Pete, what's my liver doing? What did I eat? What did I drink? What am I processing? Anyway, the body, if you have had crappy sleep or if you had negative thinking, your liver is also going to produce you to be over hot, which is part of what happened to me. But you can heal it. That's also what I'm doing. Okay. I gotta first see the list. Who came first, chicken or the egg? All right, this one. Okay, Amy will come in later. Ah, Pam. Pam. Hi, Pam. Let's see. Pam says a reading for me and for a pay forward for Jennifer. Okay, so Miss Pam, please check to see how I'm doing. Okay, so she's in tribal class and she was working on something. So I'm going to, and people are like, what are you doing? Oh, oh no, that's just a question. Is that I'm going to put myself in that time and space, and I'm going to ask her soul where she's at, how she's doing. I don't invade the space. I just present myself, and it's how you do things in the 7th plane. Do you have them all 6 written down? Because if you do, I can give you the individual scores on them, but I need to know how, if you've numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know what I mean? Or if you, come on, Brenda, you got this. And what's not working? Or is it not charging? Oh, so there's not a charge on this. That's because it's not plugged in. So sorry, little iPad. No wonder you couldn't act right. Yeah, she does. Okay, so she has a list, and I'm going to go 1. So I'm going to look at the first one. I don't know what it is, but I do know that all I have to do is look at where she is, where her soul is. Just say, show me. And they said, well, you started out, you're at a 5 now. I just really feel like it's on a stuck. So the first one is on a 5. And they said lean a little bit more to the word deficiency or the state of results, meaning whatever your thing is, there's something to do with consequences and the state of deficiency. So however it is, just kind of see if you can bring it in. Now the second one, so you got 6 points. Okay. The second one is about a 3.5. Now somehow this one's going to come down because you are taking care of the first one. Somehow they're connected now. So you've brought them down. Now we're in that connection stage and they're ready to come down. Now, when you're ready to bring this one down, Go back to that point, but do number one first, look at it from another perspective, and then the other one should come down. Now we're going to go to number 3. Oh, well, that one's like 0.5. So that one's really good. Okay. A 0.5. They said that that one's also connected to the first one and the second one. So you probably get that one down and may not have to touch that point again, but somehow they're linked. The fourth one, I feel a 0. Where do you feel? Fourth one, I feel a 0. The body is still integrating because it's waiting for the energy from the first 3. Okay. All right, so the fifth one I'm looking. Same as the fourth one. It's like it's a 1 versus a 0.5. But that's also has to do with the physiology of the body. I said, so do you want her to have a physiology point? And they said, yes. Oh. All right, I have to get my little shades so that we can do this properly. Good Lord. What did I do with them? This is what happens when you don't come in your office very often. Brilliant. There it is. Okay. So we're going to give you an extra tool to use. You're going to get something to hit your back with, to drum your back. And we're looking at in the pretty much the neck. So you may just have to can use your hand. Now, is there a particular thing you want to do with that? Because it's a physical thing. So it's a vibration, a frequency inside that needs to be loose. And they're saying, okay, so think self-preservation. All right. But I want you then to go to C2. So I go in the neck area, C2, do both sides, or, however you choose to do it. And then you go to C5. So you got C2, C5, and T1. So they're right there. So, you just go just like this while you're thinking of self-preservation. And you're going to create like a little bit of a tsunami. Now you're breathing in and out, in and out, in and out. Okay. And if you feel like, yeah, I can feel how the body wants to be in a little bit of self-preservation, then you can just add another tool along with it. And that's R3D, right wrist, third position deep on that. Okay. Okay. So now I got one more, right? I think I got one more. I'm just going to go to the 6th one if that's the case. They're really showing me a 2. They said that there's a magnetic problem there. So we are going to go to, you're going to do both sides, use a magnet and rub, and that is the large intestine. Start with the left first. Right there. Use your hand or your magnet. Give it a good 30 times. Do the other side as well. Good 30 times. And then I think it'll start, then you go back to that point. It should bring it down. Okay. I'm gonna make sure, I gotta get the bigger picture so I know that we're on the right page, okay? Let me see. Oh, come on. It's not letting me. I was trying to pull up. Yeah, that's where it should be pulled up at. Okay, she's got that. Okay, so now I'm going to look at something because I feel, just want to make sure I'm on the right page for that. And get all these things off the screen. There we go. Okay. So Pam, I really feel that the one thing that's going to come up again, there's something to do with sorrow. I don't know how sorrow is linked to any of this stuff, but I just feel that to help you be prepared is that all of a sudden your sorrow may not be something. So if you had depression before, have you had, so like sometimes you'll feel the sorrow. But I don't know if you're so used to it that you won't see and know the sorrow. But it also is an old identity that would, you could easily just say, well, that's just me, and get caught up in that story. They're saying they want you to work on how this sorrow begins to gaslight you. So instead of having a person gaslight you, it is the sorrow that gaslights you. So you will have to notice when it's sorrow. You're going to go to the right wrist, third position, nice and soft. And I want you to go, oh God, that is sorrow. And give it a scale from 0 to 10. And just sit there and begin to notice. But you have to have a good definition of what gaslighting is. How is that emotion connected to gaslighting? And how could it gaslight you? Well, if somebody was sorrow and then used sorrow to gaslight you, you may have a program that's doing that. Does that make sense? I got to get to the right screen. Is that my screen? No. Yes, it is. Good job. I found it. All right. All right. I'm hoping that there's such a delay. This is ridiculous. Okay. I hope you got that, Pam. And again, if you get any reading, you can rewatch it again on YouTube for free. Just like and subscribe. That would be great. And that'll help support the channel. Okay. Just want to make, okay. Not sure. Will you explain one more time with an example? I got to get the transcripts because spiritually speaking, I've let that one go. I got to bring it back. So in order to honor you, I've got to get to the right. That ain't it. Oh, how did it not turn on? I had it on. There it is. It's being fussy. Oh, about gaslight, right? She said it now. Okay, so in depression, you have memorized a program, okay? And oblivious, feeling sad, feeling sorrow. And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the two words. And if anybody's listening, this is great, because then you can understand. So we'll look up sorrow, and it's feeling a deep distress. So we know it's a distress. We know it's like, could be from a disappointment or a misfortune or suffered by oneself or another. But you're feeling, so let's all of a sudden you're unhappy, it's sad, it's sorrow. Now, if you were to be, let's say, non-active, or you can't create your day, or you're somebody didn't treat you the way you thought you should be treated, a program's going to pop up. And it is going to go, oh, they're doing it again to you. See, this is what happened like before. Oh, you got to watch out for this. And you're gaslighting yourself because the feeling is repeating. And what happens is that no matter what mood you're in, you will always create your reality. And if you're in a certain mood, you are going to attract that in. And if you're in a sorrow mood, you're going to see nothing but proof that says, yep, here it is. This is the sorrow. This is this. And your emotion is going to say, see, it happened again to me. Okay, I got to pull away. I can't, this is where your challenge is that it's trying to tell you that reality is all there is. Now, if you decided not to follow that emotion and you got in that 90-second choice point, you may all of a sudden dip into the right brain and go, okay, I don't have to believe that sorrow. You will then also then be able to create situations that prove that you're right. No matter, what it is, you're going to be right. So now you got proof that, yeah, you don't have to be disappointed or you don't have to do this. So the mood helps you decide what you're going to manifest. And you will gaslight yourself if you follow past that 90-second. You consciously are choosing to feel it, live it, breathe it, breathe it. Just got it. Good on you, Pam. Okay, did I miss anything? Just checking. All right, now let's go over to Jen. Jen was gifted from Pam. All right, now Jennifer. I don't know if there's anything specific you want before I go into that would kind of give me guidance, but it's up to you. It's up to you. So it's like I don't want them to know. Now you're fighting with something here. You see, and the thing is that you don't want to be duressed into into their reality, gaslit into their reality, and that you're wrong, and they'll take all your hope away. And this pattern, it can so easily be done, and you're like, nope, not doing it, not doing it, not doing it. And so you are protecting your heart because you're like, I don't want my heart crushed. I don't want to go there. I said, okay, if that's the case, what would you like her to do? And they said, have her heal the overwhelm that every time she shared who she is, what she is, how she thinks, anything about this is me, they want you to hold L1D, okay, your heart, because you're confident, but you don't want to say anything because your confidence, your self-esteem is going to go like this, and then they're going to drill into you and keep talking and keep bitching, keep moaning, keep doing this until you believe the way they believe, and then you put yourself in a shitter, and all the success rate that you have is now gone because the body's expressing it. Does this make sense? So you have to heal the heart. Now, the other part they want you to heal is the body, the circulation, the reproductive system, the pericardium, and that is the overwhelm. You've had many experiences where you're excited and you're who you are, and then they push their agenda for you to believe their reality because it's correct for them, and it's overwhelming, and you feel this overwhelming, and you can ask, is it collapsing, is it crushing, what is it doing to you? And then you're going to hold right wrist, third position, nice and deep. Okay, feel out how you know that if you were to say something, they're going to do that to you, and you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to be crushed because you can't cope, handle, and deal when they do that. But you want to train your body that I don't have to cope, handle, and deal. I don't even have to play with that. That makes sense? Okay. Yeah. All righty. it's going back to. So if you feel like you understand it, that's great. Let me pull this up. I have to rearrange these. So Miss Autumn, what Spirit wants. Now, you have loved ones coming from the other side that are very proud of your growth, your stamina, your stability, your dealing with loss. And one of the things that I would, that Spirit kind of wants you to work on, and it's about your nerves. And it's something to do with self-justifying. And I don't know exactly what I'm looking at this. You have to self-justify to those that are in authority about your choice of living. I have to self-justify. I have to. Is it getting tiring to explain? Do you understand what I'm saying? Is it getting tiring? The reason I say this is because there's a part of you, your heart says, I just want to show love. But then at the same time, I just want to sever love. I just want to, because you're processing about your beautiful Coco. And you just she said at times, okay, I want you to feel, because your nerves are saying. So again, you're doing really good. If I were to say, I just want you to work on like how you feel like you're nerved up, how the nerves seem to get the best of you. And you're like, but this is what communication is. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is, well, I want you to hold left wrist, third position soft. Okay, nice and soft. And I want you to begin to notice that you don't want to build false realities. You don't want to live in that world, that world, that world. Sounds similar to what Jennifer's going through. You want to hold that this is your reality. But you're questioning, do I have to self-justify? Does this make sense to you? So if we look up self-justifying, self-justification is, or excusing of oneself or one's action, to justify your actions, to justify who I am. And to break away from that's interesting, because here it says, I'm special. Your identity is I'm special. So ego, okay, this is really weird. Self-justification describes how when a person encounters cognitive dissonance or situation in which a person's behavior is inconsistent with their belief, that person tends to justify the behavior and deny the negative feedback associated with the behavior. So basically, identity hides behind ego, and ego fiercely protects the identity. But I feel like you're changing who you are. So you don't want to do this loop. And at the same time, you're like, so we want to get your beliefs in alignment with your behavior. And I said, so what is it more so that needs to be changed? And they said, my peace is gone. So I want you to do R2D, right wrist, second position deep, because I think Coco gave you a lot of peace. And when you had this grounding from this animal, and now you're living without this animal, the pain that you're in and who you're becoming that 90-second choice point is that you keep going into the pain instead of going to stop, wait a minute, I don't want this. So we haven't gotten you to this choice point. So you've already passed it. So you're going to add one more thing. You're going to go and left wrist, third position, deep, and I want you to feel dread. Because you can't get back into alignment with the what's important to me beliefs. Because your heart is going, I dread doing things without my dog. Or I'm having a conversation and I go, hey, Coco. Oh, Coco's not here. There's a certain amount of dread. Okay? Holding space for you, girl. You got this. Going on to the next. We are looking for Miss April Lynn. Is she here? Miss April Lynn here. Oh, my temperature changed a little bit. Or the pressure changed on the planet. Or my liver did. I feel all of a sudden not as bad as I was earlier. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Let's see if I can get the right strand here so I can see if people. Yeah, she's here. Okay. And yes, you can understand that. Good. You're growing, hon. You're doing really good. Miss April Lynn. Ooh, you're like la 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 la. It doesn't quite match my outfit, but I was just thinking of her. La 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 la. You're happy. I feel like your body is more happy because the pressure of staying alive. I'm not gonna sing it. I can feel it, I can hear it. The old program that said I had to do it this way and endure is changed. It's like, oh my God, that's that weight that it's almost finished. Not sure what you're excited about. Feels like job or something, but you're like, woohoo. So let me look, and it says timing, my timing, the timing. I can feel, I understand the difference of timing. Okay. And then it says energy. So you got some energy suppressed. All righty. Did I bring my little toy with me or didn't? I did. Always a good thing. I did. I'm going to do something on, you're not going to be able to see it, but that's okay. I have to write something out and see what this is about. Is it the outer or inner? The inner. Okay. So we have, let's say this, I'm not ready to teach it, but inside is the energy moves, is yin and yang, and it's like clockwise, and inside in the yin is more of a starfish, and it moves energy. So, but they all work together as a team. But when that team becomes imbalanced, and so in this case, the element of fire and metal. So the fire, if I were to ask, okay, so it over insults. So fire can melt metal. Now, if it can melt into shape, that's balanced. But if new job finds they're even way better. Okay. It's then going to melt it not into a shape. Okay, so now I've got to figure out what this is about for you. Why would you need to tell me this story? And is there more than one? Just that one right now. And if I said, based on, were you looking at pulse points? Yes. Okay, so R2D, and we have fire as over metal. And if I look at the fire and I ask which one is the triple warmer is too much for the large intestine. So we have triple warmer that's over the large intestine. So then if we go to here, it says that the governing meridian that's supposed to help keep our balance is saying that a demoralization has occurred. And so now the best thing to do when I'm using these words is to know what you think that means for yourself. But it's about losing hope or disheartened. Now, I said this is definitely an old program. Yes. Okay, so the body is saying it's done with it. Yes, but it can't stop that memorized relationship. Oh, gotcha. So we want to, in this case, so this disheartened has to do with relationships, social skills, and how you feel safe within them. So you are growing and deciding the environment of people is that I want to be safe around new people. But my old program is saying that I'm losing heart. I'm losing heart. You don't want to do this in this new job, from what I can see. Okay. And so that's the good thing. Now, Spirit is also telling me that we have to change your coping tool when I think it's like you felt it, the 90 seconds that you had a choice of at that choice point of saying consciously choosing to go down the old story or to say, I'm going to use a tool and change the story, get your power back. So I'm looking at how you're justifying. This is part of an old thing. Well, just get to the point. They said, all right, she's going to you rub both sides of the large intestine. So you're going to go left side first, rub it. Don't need to use a magnet. Then go over to the right, rub it, do it that way. And then we're going to go use a magnet on both because you've got apparently like two major stories crossing. So that was the first story. Then that's about relationships and letting go. So now we're going to do it again. You're going to go, once you're done with that, you go back to the left, but this time use a magnet and then rub the point, and then do the right with the magnet and rub the point. That's the second particular age of what you did, that pattern. Oh, and the body is saying that we're going to look at this condition. So it's Pavlov's condition. So that means whatever rings, you're supposed to react. So when something is blaming, then you are supposed to feel wiped out. And so you are going to hold R3S and think about when someone's blaming, how that energy comes to you, how fast, how heavy, how hard. Is it loud? Is it soft? Is it got a shape? Is it a person? Is it a words? Is it, oh, they supposed to cut deep? You know, you're going to hold R3S because you have to oppose this. You have to build a wall. You have to go in, start to go down old programs to drag your ass back to what you know. But you're saying, I don't want to do this. So every time somebody blames, I'm going to measure it out. Now, as you begin to do this, they're saying something about the peace being gone because of because it's like, did I miss out? Do you have any thoughts about I missed out? I should have went to college. I should have did this. Did you feel, are you using these words? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I missed out because I had this, and this. I missed out because they did this, and that. I missed out. Keep hearing, I missed out. Either way, if you feel like you know you missed out, or that is the words that you're using, you're going to go right wrist first position soft and really apply that to everything where you feel your body going, I missed out on the picnic, I missed out on a job, I missed out on it. It's a very strong sense of blaming others, or because somebody was blaming you missed out. There's a two-way street here. Okay. Oh, let's see. I'm happy for your new job. That's awesome. Growing up faster. Oh, got to get to the right screen to read with. I missed out. I had to grow up fast. Okay, so do you want, at that 90-second, do you want to go and make the conscious choice of having that still be your story? Even though you got evidence, even though there's a whole lot of stuff, the question is do you want to continue? Because that is actually what causes you to want to stay in. Apparently it affects your finances, it affects the way you view things, but your body and you are saying, no, I'm moving onward and upward. So happy healing. Okay. Yeah, you had to be more, yeah, at age 9. Yeah. Okay, so we are helping those 9-year-old. You had two particular timelines. I don't think it matters, except for you were repeating. You were repeating. So we're going to kick that in the butt and just change it. That is correct. She says, I do not need that anymore. And that's her spiritual part of her saying, I'm making this conscious choice at this choice point. So, isn't that good? All right, I need to find a cord to plug in. Oh, that's a watch. Oh, huh. No, my watch is fine. If I unplugged, oh, that's not it either. Yeah, that'll work. Just have to rearrange because I took my one cord out and left it out there. Yeah, it's working now. I believe it now. It's Miss Ayme. I'm going to double check. And was there any questions in any part of the rooms that I've missed? I think we're good there. Okay, starting up again. That means I need to go balance my body and get a chance. In my mind, I'm doing my best to do that. Getting the link to go get my guest to come on. There we go. I'm almost there. How are we all doing? We can learn from one another. We can, so we have tribal tomorrow. Now, again, I won't be doing my show next week. I'm going to have a swearing in ceremony and I'm going to become an Australian citizen. Got my outfit picked out. I have no idea what the temp's going to be, but it's going to be fun. And it's an achievement. That's good. And we're going to open up the window and bring her into the space. I don't know why that cannot. Oh, I can close that. Okay. Hi. I got to get the right view though.
Hi.
Hopefully. And how are you?
I'm good. I'm not as hot as you are.
Okay, hold on. You shut that door. Thank you. Yeah, nobody in this house is hot except for me. But I'm not a hot mess, so I'm good. Not, at least I don't
That's
think.
good. That's good.
Okay, how can I help you? Don't say
Digging?
digging. No, no, no.
Don't say digging. Okay.
No, this is where you have had it's stepping up as a spirit.
Hmm. So there's been like little um the little triggers, little things that keep popping up that we kind of look at each other and go, well, wait, you gotta look at this. And it's those things that I'm learning to see.
Okay. Um, I'm looking at the physical body, and I'm looking at they're saying the social skills. It's saying the part of the scalar field. So my question then is, did you make friends easy or did you not? Were you a one friend person?
Um, I didn't make friends easy because I didn't understand people my own age, because all of my friends were in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Now they're,
Okay.
you know,
Right. Okay. So you're learning social skills.
hmm
Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at your heart. I'm supposed to show and sever, show and sever. So I gotta figure what this means. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Did your mother kind of like demand that you only love her?
hmm yeah,
So if dad was around or if other people were around, were you afraid to show affection to the same
yes.
kind to
hmm
another? What would
yeah.
happen if you did? How would your mother react?
Um, it would be the silent treatment, the look that could kill, a lot of tone, a lot of things like that.
So with that, would you? I feel this is your Pavlov's, very conditioned, that you were very careful of how you exerted yourself.
hmm Yeah.
Would she have conversations with you that she would gaslight you into saying this is the way the person's reacting, or that how would she
hmm
control the way you saw things?
Yep. Yep.
So did you not speak up, talk back, tell her no? Or were what how did you react?
No, I didn't. I wasn't allowed to, because I wouldn't allow myself to, because of the retribution that I would get.
So you just said you have a self-imposed limitation.
hmm
How does that affect your social skills now?
It impedes it. It's like I bump up against this barrier, and it's like I I'm beginning to see it now, but it's like I haven't been able to see it.
So if you made friends, how would your mother react?
She wouldn't like it, because it I wouldn't wasn't giving all my attention to her.
Okay. So I feel like you're my sister and your mother and like one person. Um, she's been gone how long?
Um, let's see, May will be 14 years. She died in 13. I don't know.
Okay. So So for 14 years, you should have had practice of different social skills. Have you been around
Mm-hmm.
people or have you been isolated?
I've been isolated.
So the people that you make friends with are never in your immediate area.
Physical space, right.
And it's easier to keep them at bay.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
That part of me knows that it's not going to get hurt.
Okay. Now, would you say you need to heal that part? I'm going to ask, are you willing to heal that part? And it's like, not yet. And I say, what back door can we go to? And it says, well, the sensory system. Your mother said that you used to be very sensitive. You would cry at the drop of a hat.
Yep. Still do.
And your mother, she said, I got really mad at her. It's like, I don't know why she just couldn't stop that. So the stress that she is, or she gave, or she
Mm-hmm.
appeared, opposed, she's here, very strong. This is how kids get very stressed, is when the parent is stressed, or the parent demands, or the parent, you know. You from what I can tell is that you are on repeat of self-preservation. So there is a particular age of you that keeps feeling there's an overbearing energy that's going to come at you at any moment if you did it wrong. Why don't you grab R3D right now? So we're just going to shut the screen off. She can come back in a moment. We're going to give her a little privacy. And we're going to talk. How's that? We're going to talk. When you have grown up, I made a video for my children. I'm a great mom. I'm doing my best. I always judged myself. I'm a bad mom, flip-floppy, didn't really know who I was as a soul. And I was stressed to leave my kids because I haven't had got on an airplane. And I didn't want them to die. I didn't want to die. I didn't want, so it was like, oh my God, and I didn't have tools to handle my fear. I didn't have this. Do you understand? And when you go and realize that you are a big bag of stress, that you are running on fear, and you are no identity, but the people around you have sculpted, you will have more mental or an emotional crap shows. You will feel like you have to be on eggshells. You feel like you can't do social skills. You're pretty much paralyzed. You can't really move forward. And so I made this video. I'm reading, my kids are sitting there with my audience, and I read a bunch of books, Dr. Seuss. I made a video so that I was gone, they could watch it. But I watched it. And there's a surreal moment when you realize that your emotion, even though I'm trying to be happy, is pouring off the effing screen and out of my tone of my voice. And the child is squirming in the seat because it feels the emotion. That's the same for dogs and cats and birds. If you're in a shitty space, that dog may not want to be around you, or that bird will go ballistic and it looks like it's misbehaving and we want it to behave. So then we start throwing our energy and our anger all over, wanting to control it because we can't stand that we can't control it. It drives you nuts. But you shouldn't want to live there. And this is the unregulated self that just feels like it can unleash its anger. And when I watched that video, is like, oh my God, even though I'm doing my best, I'm falling apart inside. And I thought I was hiding it so they wouldn't be affected by my postpartum. And I had to really decide, do I want to live this way or I don't? And I begged and I said, Spirit, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me, and show me something greater than this personality can see. Because when you get stuck in this personality, in this perspective, you can't see anything further than what you know. My social skills were sucky at best because I was always controlled. Oh, they hate you. They don't like you. Don't talk to them. And so I never made friends. And I would see people greet other people. I would see all of these things and I would long for it. And then when I'd see the people I thought would want to do it with me not do it, I was crushed that I was a program. And it takes some time to go backwards on this program and heal backwards so that you're not in this program, that program doesn't control you. I think about that video and what it taught me. And the energies that are in your space, what I call scalar field, the shared space, it's not what you have in common. It's about how you balance each other, good, bad, or indifferent. So if you're walking around going, oh, I did it wrong, they're going to judge me, blah, 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 and then somebody comes by and judges you and you're like, see, I'm right. Left brain just collected proof. But if you can stop and go, wait a minute, that's not me, which I clearly learned, I can tell that this is the scalar field saying I'm supposed to raise my hand and say something, or I'm supposed to act a certain way. And even if I don't want to, they're going to see that perspective anyway. The scalar field is an amazing field that needs to actually be addressed and healed by itself. So bear with me as I keep collecting information. And will you ever get a book from me? I don't know. I'm still learning how to write. Because when I read it back, I got to learn how to read it back because the best, greatest editing is after you post and you're like, oh my God, you can't see it at the time. I had to learn how to do social skills and to include people. But I always had this thing that my sister is watching over my shoulder to chastise me later. We had steps, siblings, and there was Ayme was my age. Then there was Michael, Tony, and Chris. And Chris was the oldest. And it's so funny because it was almost the same. No, Todd, not Tony, Todd. Chris, yes. So you have all these kids and they sound just like your siblings, but you're being watched by your siblings. And I was totally controlled and gaslit by my sister. She basically was the one that raised me. Was always there to play with. She would prefer to play with somebody else. But boy, she could control me. We'd always play games. She always had to be the teacher. I always had to be the bad student, and I'd always have to get hurt. And I'm like, but I want to teach. No, you don't know how. You're too stupid. So for the longest time, I thought I was stupid. I believed her. That was my informative years, for God's sake. But when you get to a certain age, you have to start. What are new social skills? How do you make a friend? How do you include people? And if you really are afraid to include people because you have somebody looking over your shoulder ready to pounce on you, but yet they're dead, Why do I still do it? What skill haven't I learned yet? What is spirit telling me? Now, as a kid, I was a sensitive, meaning I could tell. I didn't understand how I mastered it today, but then, because when your heart's opened up and you hear words that have certain frequency, it will hurt. Some people's hearts do not have that ability to hear with that sensory system how frequencies can hurt. And so everybody in my family, one way or the other, was going through their shit shows and getting on each other's nerves. And of course, I'm the youngest. They don't have food in their mouth. They can't buy clothes. They can't. Here we go again. Another hand me down here. And it's your fault because you were born. Oh, look at her. She got boobs. We don't. Oh, look at her. She got the height. Oh, I hate her. And it does a lot to your self-esteem. But when you realize the people that were going through mental, emotional shit shows, what they told you was not really true. It may be their pain and their suffering, or then maybe that's the way they want you to have pain and suffering. You gotta decide when you're going to wake up from that. So when people say you need to wake up from these programs. These programs that have these rules and these feelings and these comes from your little self of trying to survive. Now it's time for us to raise our little selves. Okay? Literally, you have all the tools here. If you have the soul's urge and you want to wake up from these particular things instead of repeating the stories, and you want to meet that conscious choice point with your consciousness, with your soul, with your higher self, you can pause and say, do I have to believe my feelings? You can come back in the room.
You got to turn on the camera though.
Okay, please turn on the camera. Okay.
Okay.
So, this is your time.
I've been doing this for the last 7 years and it still amazes me. I can go from tears and feeling like absolute crap to, oh, I'm back. I'm me. Oh, I didn't have to believe that. I don't have
But
to believe my own BS, which is belief systems and bullshit.
but look at how you lingered. The turnaround times may be faster, but notice the lingering.
Mm-hmm.
The trigger. Instead of listening with your heart and your consciousness of your higher self and learn new skills or whatever from spirit, how easy it is to go and judge it, drop into it, walk it around, and then see these shit shows that you know at home you used to have. You're living in assimilation,
Mm-hmm.
and yet you haven't caught yourself yet. So you have to catch. Again, when I kept catching myself going, what do I need to learn? I had to learn new social skills. I had to change the way I thought about people. I had to go in and again, no suppressing, release it, learn something
Mm-hmm.
new, let
Yep.
spirit teach you. You're only allowed to
Yeah.
have one friend, but that's got to hurt a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So when a lot of people want to talk to you, if you don't keep them separated, and if they're all in the same room, somebody is going to walk away sad, more than one.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, your skills were shoddy at best because you have been alone for how long in those four walls?
A long time.
So that means you have not had enough experience or for growth or for, but you're doing it. You're doing it. But you have to begin to notice the skills you did learn that are stunting you now.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Okay. So you wanted to cry. You could feel the limitation.
The limitation, the pull to go to the end of the timeline and, let my day be crappy because of that. And it's like, yeah, no, I'd rather heal it out.
Good. Good. Do you hear that? Somebody's banging.
I think the bathroom
neighbor.
door is.
Oh, no, I don't hear that one. I hear this guy, one that's building. Okay, so what did Spirit just tell you to do? Besides heal it, what did Spirit tell you to do?
Begin to catch it.
And?
Begin to see it and heal it out and
Learn a new skill.
Learn those new skills of being a friend of more than one person.
Right. So you need to you may have to Google, you may have to chat GPT it. But you have to catch that. Do you have an insecurity? Where's your self-esteem? Do you, you're going to have to, because your mother said, you're free now. You don't have to be controlled by me. It was necessary for you to mother me. It was necessary for you to obey. It was necessary. But you're free.
But it's not anymore.
For 14 years, you've been free. So the question is,
and
how
yet
you
I couldn't see
social
the door.
skills. Say it again.
I couldn't see the door to get out of that house. I couldn't see the gate.
Okay, so now your spirit wants you to grow. Question is, are you going to believe your programs, or are you going to go and do that 90-second rule?
90-second rule.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for coming on, and I appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
See you tomorrow in Travel.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Did you learn something today? Not learn something today? That's up to you. You are more than just a program. You're an amazing being, and it's time to decide what you want to be. You can learn to be your spiritual person and have that. Begin just with the 90 seconds. Hit the choice point. Become conscious of what your next step's going to be. And the more you become conscious that you are spirit, not, oh, the programmer says, I know exactly what I'm doing. There's a big difference operating through your heart brain than the program. That the brain says, yeah, this is what we're supposed to do. We want you to get more into your heart. Thank you for coming on today. I've had, I second guessed whether I should or not, and I'm glad I did. And I love you all very much. You hashtag resolve to evolve. Hashtag heal instead of deal. Hashtag don't waste it. You can paste it, meaning go heal. So Davin has one more question, and you got a couple seconds to decide if you want to rewrite it. Before I go, I'll check to see if anybody else is paid. This phone, for some reason, even though it's been updated. Yeah, that's why I said go over to Dr. B. Yeah, it's buffering for me too. You're not the only one, hun. It's crazy. I'm trying to scroll to see where your question is, but it's not scrolling. I got the exact same phone, and for some reason, this one doesn't. Yeah, I cannot get to it. Hashtag next stepping stone. That is correct. Okay, I can't get to it, so I'm going to look at one more time at the bottom. That's if it cooperates. No, I don't need a guest. I was saying I got an internship job at college, so I might be able to join tribal or pay for PIFs. That would be awesome, Davin. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, good on you for an internship. That's good. What are you going to be studying or learning, or yeah, learning. Okay, yeah. This one just completely crashed, so I'm just going to close them all. It's going to probably close itself because I can't close it. I've given up on this one. Simulation and gaming. Oh my God, that's awesome. That's right up your alley. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. It's a job with that. It has IT. That is, thank you, Spirit. That is awesome. How's your foot? Is it good? Yeah, man, that is great. Get to get new experiences and grow. Love it. All right. I'm going to sign off on this one and this one over here. So, you guys have a great day, and you're already blessed in your home. So stay blessed. And